Hey, I'm Stephanie, the Strong-Willed Child, and welcome to my channel. Chances are you are the Strong-Willed Child too, because I believe the Strong-Willed Child is a generation of adult children who were raised inside of fundamentalist evangelical homes. Today, I want to talk to you about Generation Joshua. What is Generation Joshua? You're probably wondering, because I myself didn't realize that I was raised inside of Generation Joshua until probably the last 5 years. Generation Joshua, there's two different variations of it. One is the overt one, and the other is the covert. So one, chances are if you were homeschooled or private schooled and you grew up in a evangelical home, primarily fundamentalist, there's a good chance either yourself or your sibling or somebody that you knew was sent off to Washington, D.C. to learn the art of politics in the name of Jesus. Generation Joshua is a far right-wing political organization that aims to teach youth and young adults how to take this country back in the name of Jesus, because they believe, just like Joshua brought the Israelites into the promised land, that America is the evangelicals' promised land, and they will do anything to take it back in the name of Jesus, by force if necessary. They are an anti-LGBTQIA+, anti-abortion, family first, so traditional family, a husband and a wife and then children, anti-divorce, anti pretty much all your rights, anti-fun, you get it. Anyway, so there's the overt way, right, where children learned how to debate from congressmen, from senators. They would shadow congressmen and senators. They would sit in during legislative meetings. Some of them even went on to help clerk for Supreme Court judges. Generation Joshua is responsible for placing some of the congressmen and senators and current aides and clerks in their current positions. Think of it kind of as like a fraternity and sorority for fundamentalist evangelicals, primarily homeschoolers. They were bunked up together in dorms. Sometimes they would be there for an entire summer. Sometimes it was just a week, depending on the program that you were installed in. But then there's the covert one, because you're probably thinking, I didn't deal with that at all. So I definitely am not Generation Joshua. For myself, I was sure that I escaped all of that until I had this memory where I was standing up on my bed, hand over my heart. My parents were out on a date and I had a babysitter, and she was desperate to get me to go to sleep. I had my hand over my heart. I was probably about 3 or 4, and I was saying the Pledge of Allegiance, singing the Star Spangled Banner, "Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, God bless America." And I knew all those songs because I learned them in Sunday school. My church had an American flag along with the Washington state flag right up at the front. When it was the 4th of July or Veterans Day or any other patriotic day, Flag Day, the Sunday before, we would always sing a medley of patriotic songs with my mom's arms lifted high in praise. I was convinced these were worship songs until I went to public school and realized everybody else knew them too. So they weren't church songs. I was taught that America was God's chosen place, that America was the city on a hill, the beacon of hope and light. And it was my job to make sure that America was taken back for Jesus, that principalities of demonic darkness loomed over the country, and that it was part of my job, ingrained in my DNA, as a Christian to take this country back, along with so many others, in the name of Jesus. Again, by force if necessary, because God never calls you to be disruptive unless somebody is desecrating the name of Jesus. And then all bets are off because Jesus flipped over tables in the market. That's how that works, right? Anyway, Generation Joshua taught an entire generation how to hate their neighbors and call it love. Generation Joshua was taught to legislate the Bible by taking away human rights and freedoms. Generation Joshua aims to continue to destroy any progress that's being made and set us back by decades. They believe that they don't just have the right, but it's the call that's been stamped and imprinted on their heart. So if you were raised inside of Generation Joshua, whether overt or covert, hi, welcome. So if any of that sounds familiar, drop a comment or send it to somebody that you think may have been raised inside a Generation Joshua. We're not alone. Thank you for being here. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, and Threads. So find me over there. Join the party. Let's heal loudly together.